The observation deck of Station Kepler 442 hummed with the quiet efficiency of 1,000 alien species coexisting in careful harmony. Ella Chen stood at the translucent viewport, her reflection ghosting over the swirling nebula beyond. She'd been assigned to the diplomatic quarter for 3 months now, the only human in a sector populated by beings who found her species either fascinating or terrifying, depending on which propaganda they'd consumed. She pretended to study her datapad, but her peripheral vision had caught the movement 15 minutes ago. A small figure, no taller than her hip, kept ducking behind the environmental column whenever Ella's gaze swept that direction. The Velkari cub she'd learned to recognize their species by the iridescent fur that shifted colors with their emotions, was currently displaying the deep purples and silvers of curiosity mixed with fear. Ella had seen this before. The galaxy still remembered the human-Zerathi war, even though it had ended before she was born. Humanity had earned its reputation. Relentless, unpredictable, dangerously innovative. The fact that humans could survive on death worlds and still smile about it had cemented their place in galactic consciousness as the monsters under the bed. But this little one, probably no more than a youngling, didn't need to know that history. Not yet. Ella kept her movements slow and deliberate. She raised her left hand, keeping her eyes on the datapad, and made a simple gesture, the universal sign for hello that the Galactic Council had synthesized from 1,000 cultures. Her fingers traced a gentle wave through the air, casual, non-threatening. Behind the column, the cub's fur flashed bright yellow surprise. "The nebula is beautiful today, isn't it?" Ella said to no one in particular, her voice soft. She'd learned that humans spoke too loudly for most species. Their voices carried aggression even in greeting. A remnant of evolving on a planet where every shadow might hide a predator. A tiny sound, like wind through crystal chimes. The Velkari's native language. Ella didn't speak it, but she recognized the cadence of a question. She smiled, careful to keep her teeth covered. Humans were one of the few species that displayed their primary weapons when expressing joy. "I'm Ella. I work in the cultural exchange program." She paused, then added, "I promise I'm not as scary as the stories say." The cub's head emerged slightly from behind the column. 2 large eyes, prismatic and deep, fixed on her with the intensity only children possessed. The fur shifted to curious orange with threads of cautious green. "Your colors are amazing," Ella continued, still not looking directly at the youngling. Direct eye contact was predatory behavior among many species. "We humans can't do that. We're stuck with the same skin all the time. Kind of boring, actually." A longer sound this time, more confident. The universal translator, embedded in Ella's neural interface, finally caught enough context. "You don't hunt?" Ella's heart broke a little. She remembered reading the reports how some Velkari colonies had been caught in the crossfire of humanity's expansion wars decades ago. How the children of survivors grew up with nightmare stories of the relentless humans who never stopped, never quit, never showed mercy. "Not today," she said gently. "Today, I'm just watching the stars and hoping to make a friend." The cub stepped fully into view. Small, delicate, with 4 arms tucked close to their body, a defensive posture. The fur cycled through colors too quickly for Ella to interpret. But she recognized the conflict there. Fear, warring with curiosity. The universal struggle of childhood. Ella slowly sat down on the deck floor, making herself smaller, less imposing. She set her datapad aside and reached into her satchel, pulling out a small cube, a human puzzle toy. One of the few items from Earth she'd brought with her. She began manipulating it, colors clicking into alignment with satisfying snaps. "We humans do like puzzles," she said conversationally. "Finding solutions to impossible problems. I suppose that's why people think we're dangerous." She paused, solving one face of the cube. "But we also like helping, building, creating things that didn't exist before." The cub moved closer, drawn by the movement and colors. Their fur had settled into a soft, blue-green, tentative trust. "My name is Max Elianthor," the cub said through the translator. the words stumbling in standard. My elder says humans eat stars. Ella laughed, a sound she immediately softened when Max flinched. We don't eat stars, little one. But we do travel between them. Your elder isn't completely wrong, humans can be intense. She held out the puzzle cube. Want to try? Max approached with the cautious steps of prey entering a clearing. But they came. 4 small hands reached out and took the cube, fur flashing with excitement yellow when they realized Ella wasn't going to grab them. We survived on a world that wanted us dead, Ella said quietly, watching Max explore the puzzle. Every animal was stronger, faster. The weather tried to kill us. The plants were poisonous. But we learned, adapted, and eventually, we thrived. She met Max's eyes carefully. That same stubbornness that made us survivors, it also makes us loyal. Counter C, 222, protective. Once we decide someone is ours to care for, nothing in the galaxy can change our minds. Max's colors rippled a pattern Ella was beginning to understand, meant processing, thinking, evaluating. Are humans really monsters? Max asked. Ella considered the question with the seriousness it deserved. We can be, she admitted, when something threatens what we love. But we can also be kind, gentle, patient. She gestured to the space between them. We can be friends. Max's fur burst into brilliant gold joy, and the cubs scrambled closer, settling beside Ella with the puzzle. Together, they worked on solving it, human and Velkari, while the nebula turned slowly beyond the viewport, and the galaxy continued its eternal dance. Behind them, unnoticed by either, several other alien younglings had gathered, watching from their own hiding spots. One by one, they began to emerge, drawn by the strange sight of a human sitting peacefully with a Velkari cub. Both laughing over a simple puzzle, perhaps, Ella thought as more small beings gathered around her, asking questions in a dozen different languages, perhaps. This was humanity's greatest strength, after all. Not the ability to survive and conquer, but the stubborn insistence on connection, on reaching out, even when others hid. Especially then,